Dev, I would like to update you on the latest developments of my EEG project. So last year in Hyderabad during the 10,000 course, this headset was used to show coherence over the whole brain, and it was animated in a circle on the big screen for everyone to see. All of that is still there, but in the last half year, a lot of developments for software have happened. This is all due to advances in AI. I've been working with AI to develop more software. So let's take a look what is possible now. So first of all, we can see here the, I call this the study view, and we're going to take a look at this in more detail in a moment. First, let's understand what we are looking at. So we now have a database and we can add more subjects to it. At the moment we have 15 subjects from a small pilot study, and let's take a look at subject number 2. Subject number 2 has 2 sessions, one in March 2024 and one in November 2024. So let's look at their first session. And they had their eyes open. During that period of 10 minutes with their eyes open, they were thinking about the activities of their day that day. And during that time, during those whole 10 minutes, this on average was their coherence, this much in the front, this much in the back, and let's see the numbers behind that. So the executive channels, and that means all of these 7 channels here, which cover the whole forehead and the temples and slightly up, those are the executive channels, and there we had, where that person had 74% coherence. And the average coherence over the whole brain, the whole circle, was 58%. And we can see here, this is a timeline from 0 to 600. Those are 600 seconds or 10 minutes. And every time you can see these white bars in between, that is when they're moving or they're blinking their eyes, or for whatever reason, they are disturbing the EEG signal. All right, and so those moments are then left out of the average calculation. So now we can also open a second report chart, and I'm going to again load subject number 2, and this time November, their November session, so March and November, and both eyes open. And what happened is on March 23rd, 2024, in the morning they learned, we recorded their EEG, and in the afternoon they learned transcendental meditation. So this is their baseline, and this in November is after more than half a year of daily practicing transcendental meditation. So we can see already there's a lot more coherence going on here in the front, and we can see from 74% executive coherence we have gone to 86% executive coherence. And over the whole brain he went from 58 to 63%. So this is a great result for 6 or I think 8 months of practicing transcendental meditation daily. Now let's go back to this study view. Here we have in total 12 subjects in the age range from 20 to 50 years old. So on the x-axis here we have their age at the time of the recording. And on the y-axis we have the coherence going from 40 to 100%. And we have a control group who has not learned transcendental meditation, and they just carry on about their day as usual. And then we have the treatment group who has learned transcendental meditation on the day when they are first recorded their EEG. So let's see here, this is actually subject number 2. And their first recording, their age was 34 years old, 6 months and 15 days, and they had 73.4% coherence. And then 8 months and 7 days later, when they were 35 years old and 2 months and 22 days, their coherence in the frontal area had gone up by 12%, and now they have 85.7% coherence. So here we're seeing that the control group on average went up by 1.08%, and the TM group went up by 10.45%. So that is a wonderful result. And keep in mind, this is with their eyes open, so this is in their day-to-day activity. Right now we are looking at alpha, but we can also look at beta. So now we can see an even bigger difference, and in gamma it's an even bigger difference. So what is the application of all of this? This can be applied in TM centers where right before learning transcendental meditation, the student can can be recorded. We can take their EEG baseline, and then a number of months later, we can repeat their EEG recording. And for every session, they have the report that I showed earlier, this one, and then it builds up, and then they can see their own progress, compare themselves to themselves. But also they can get this chart where it compares them to their peer group of meditators and non-meditators. And we can even show how long a person has been meditating in this chart. So it gives them a very visual and tangible sense of progress. And I think that this will translate in more people coming to the TM Center. Why? Well, a person does this and some months later they do it again, and then they can show their family members and their friends that indeed their brains have become more coherent and that it correlates with their experience in life. So this makes it very tangible, and it is visually pleasing. So they can also, these charts, for example, they can post them on Instagram and on Facebook and on TikTok, and maybe it will go viral even in their circles. And I think it could really lead to an increase of activity and instructions at the TM centers, as well as this could really generate revenue, because of course recording the EEG would be a paid service that we can provide. So that is one aspect. The other aspect, the other application of this is, of course, we can do studies, but we can also apply this in our coherence creating groups, which are schools and other institutions where we need to motivate the people, the institutions, to not only implement the transcendental meditation technique, but also the TM City program. And sometimes a little bit of extra help, a little bit of extra aid can be useful there. So let's see. Let me load this again. There we go. Here we have one person first with their eyes open, then practicing transcendental meditation, and then practicing the City program. And we can see, if we scroll down, their executive coherence with their eyes open is almost 70%. During their transcendental meditation, it is 84%. And during the City program, it is 88%. So that is a significant increase on top of the transcendental meditation technique. And I think that could really give the final motivation for a lot of institutions who are quite willing to practice TM, but who are not quite willing yet to make the next step. I think this will help them to make that decision, and also to answer to the board of directors and whatever other people they have to answer to about their decisions. This can really fortify and embolden their moves. So everything that I've shown so far is already technically possible. It can be implemented right now. If we want to train people to do this, it would be good if I give a training course of a week or two to really get them practicing and using the headset and the software and all of that, to use it in the correct way. And then it can be rolled out. Machines are available as it is right now, but it requires operators with enough aptitude, and that's where sometimes this gets challenging. Operating EEG is not for everyone. It requires the person with the right technical insights. There are plenty more things that we can develop on this whole platform. Right now we're doing coherence, but there's so many more things that we can do. And if you watch the next video, which goes into the technical details of the current platform, then that gives us a glimpse of what else is possible to develop in the future. So for the technical video, see in the link below. Thank you so much. Jay Gurdev.